Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished members of the Philippine and Japanese delegations from the Foreign Affairs and Defense Department and Ministries, the FA Press Corps and accompanying Japanese media. Welcome to today's joint press conference on the just concluded Second Philippine-Japan Foreign Defense Ministerial Meeting, or the 2+2 meeting. We will first hear from the Honorable Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Enrique A. Manalo, followed by the Honorable Secretary of Defense, Gilberto Teodoro Jr., after which we will request Excellency Foreign Minister Kamikawa Yoko, followed by Defense Minister Kihara Minoru, to deliver their remarks. After their remarks, we will entertain 4 questions from the press. Secretary Manalo, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Foreign Minister of Japan, Kamikawa Yoko, Defense Minister of Japan, Kihara Minoru, Secretary of National Defense, Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr., members of the media, colleagues in government, ladies and gentlemen. Today we convene the second Philippines-Japan Foreign Defense Ministerial Meeting. This meeting marks a milestone in our decade-old strategic partnership. We reaffirmed our shared goals of ensuring peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region, promoting regional economic growth, and addressing the increasing and complex challenges in the region and beyond. Amidst the backdrop of the geopolitical situation in this and other regions, which has put the stability and predictability of the rules-based international order under stress, we discussed global and regional issues of common concern. I was honored to witness, along with the President this morning, the signing today of our Reciprocal Access Agreement, an outcome of the hard work and dedication of our competent negotiators. The RAA brings our defense partnership to an unprecedented height. We also explored other measures to enhance and coordinate our defense and security policies. Our two countries understand that our aspiration for peace and progress also requires economic resilience. Thus, we agreed to further deepen economic cooperation and enhance our ability to react to unexpected economic developments. We also noted the need to strengthen cybersecurity systems. As an archipelagic nation, we value our partnership with Japan on improving the capacity of our Philippine Coast Guard. We welcome the signing last May of the exchange of notes on the Maritime Safety Capability and Improvement Project for the procurement of 5 additional PCG vessels. These assets will help enhance our maritime domain awareness and our ability to patrol our vast waters to conduct maritime law enforcement. Related to this, we also discussed potential space-based cooperation. We appreciate Japan's long-term commitment to peace and development in Mindanao, which enhances our efforts to lay the foundation for good governance in Bangsamoro. We have broadened our business and economic ties through the Philippines-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement, despite some challenges. We will continue to work together to enhance our trade and investment relations. And we also recognize the potential gains from our trilateral cooperation with the United States. Finally, we reaffirmed our shared commitment to multilateralism. We discussed common approaches regarding the NPT, or Non-Proliferation Treaty, and our participation in the FMCT Friends, or the Fissile Material Cutoff Treaty. Ours is a resilient partnership anchored on shared values and the enduring friendship between our two peoples. From today's 2+2 meeting, I'm confident that this strategic partnership will flourish, delivering dividends for our peoples and serving as a pillar of regional stability. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Manalo. Secretary Teodoro, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellencies, and the Secretary Manalo. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Today it is indeed an honor to be part of the signing of this historic reciprocal access agreement between Japan and the Philippines. It will put flesh into our already strong and robust bilateral relations, and it will be a great step towards the concretization of trust And now comes the work of building confidence among the members of the Japanese Self-Defense Force and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. It will also lead to greater interoperability, exchanges of information, and other cooperative activities both bilaterally and multilaterally under the aegis of a rules-based international order and the upholding of the essence, principles, and concepts of international law, particularly UNCLOS. On the humanitarian assistance and disaster reduction side, we can increase our partnerships and cooperation in different systems, and especially in disaster response. With this signing, we look forward to increased cooperation and work in order to bring this agreement not merely in exchanges of signed deeds, but in actual work and actions in order to bring greater stability to this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Teodoro. Excellency Foreign Minister Kamikawa, you have the floor.
Thank you. 今回、外務大臣として初めてフィリピンを訪問をし、マルコス政権下で初となる2+2におきまして、木原大臣とともにマナロ外相、テオドロ国防相と非常に充実した議論ができたことを嬉しく思います。フィリピン側のホスピタリティに心から感謝申し上げます。日フィリピン両国は共に海洋国家であります。基本的な価値と原則を共有する戦略的なパートナーであります。今回の2+2を通じまして、法の支配に基づく自由で開かれた国際秩序の維持強化に向けて、安全保障、防衛協力の促進、そして地域及び国際社会の諸課題に対する連携を確認をいたしました。協議の成果として3点申し上げたいと思います。第一に、両国間の安全保障、防衛協力の進展を確認した上で、今後の協力の方向性をすり合わせました。具体的には、本日署名をした部隊間協力円滑化協定 RAA を新たな基盤として、両国の部隊間の交流や、そして協力を進めていくこと。また第二に、防衛装備技術協力や政府安全保障能力強化支援 OSA を含む能力構築における協力を継続強化すること、そして第三に、経済安全保障やサイバーセキュリティ、海洋、WPS の視点も含まれたミンダナオ和平支援といった分野における協力を継続強化することも確認をいたしました。第2に、国際条理における連携を含む多国間協力の推進を確認いたしました。具体的には、まず日米非および日米豪非を含みます同盟国同志国との重層的な協力を構築することであります。そして第2に FMCT 交渉開始の促進を含みます核軍縮不拡散に係る連携を進めていくことなどを確認をいたしました。第3に、自由で開かれたインド太平洋の実現に向け、戦略環境に係る認識を共有をし、連携を確認いたしました。第1に、東シナ海、南シナ海情勢につきましては、力または威圧による一方的な現状変更の試みへの強い反対を表明をいたしました。その上で、特に最近のセカントーマス礁における危険な活動をはじめ、地域の緊張を高める行為に対する深刻な懸念を共有し、国連海洋法条約をはじめとする国際法の遵守を求めていくことで一致をいたしました。我が国として南シナ海における紛争の平和的解決に対するフィリピンのコミットメントに改めて支持を表明いたします。また、北朝鮮につきましては、最新の情勢につきまして意見交換を行うとともに、核・ミサイル問題や拉致問題を含む 諸課題への対応につきまして引き続き連携していくことで一致をいたしました。以上の議論を踏まえ、日本とフィリピンの平和と繁栄、そして地域および国際社会の安定のため、今後もフィリピンとともに取り組んでまいりたいと考えております。以上です。
Thank you, Minister Kamikawa. Then, when we request that Defense Minister Kihara to deliver his remarks.
まずはテオドロ国防大臣、マナロ外務大臣、そして上川外務大臣とともに第2回となる日本フィリピン2+2を開催できたことを大変嬉しく思います。ホストを務めていただいたフィリピン側の温かいホスピタリティに心から感謝を申し上げます。ありがとうございました。我々を取り巻く安全保障環境が一層厳しさを増していく中で、インド太平洋地域の平和と安定を維持していくために、同盟国、同志国等との協力、連携を示すことは極めて重要であると考えています。こうした中、今回第2回目の2+2を実施できたことは非常に意義の大きいことであります。本日署名された RAA は画期的であり、自衛隊とフィリピン軍の協力交流がさらに活発化することを期待いたします。これまで日本とフィリピンの両国は共同訓練、海上自衛隊の艦艇による飛行、能力構築支援など暴力当局間の協力を積み重ねてまいりました。さらに2機の日本製警戒管制レーダーがフィリピンに納入されるなど、防衛装備、技術協力についても目覚ましく進展しています。日本とフィリピンの2国間にとどまらず、多国間においても、本年5月の第2回日非米豪防衛相会談に加え、4月は日非米豪、6月は日非米カナダの4カ国間で海上共同活動として共同訓練を実施するなど、協力が密に行われてきました。本日の成果も踏まえ、今後も自由で開かれたインド太平洋の実現のため、日非2国間および日非を含む多国間の連携を強化していく決意です。本日はありがとうございました。Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretaries and Ministers. So we will now begin the question and answer portion of this joint press conference. May we request Mr. Karaki Suntan of NHK to raise the first question directed to Minister Kihara.
すみません、NHK の唐木と申します。そして木原大臣にお伺いいたします。南シナ海におけるフィリピンと中国の領有権をめぐる衝突に対する日本の現状認識と、日本として今後この地域の安全保障にどのように関わっていくおつもりなのか、教えてください。よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、まず南シナ海における現状認識ということであります。我が国は先月のフィリピン船舶の損傷および乗組員の人的被害につながった危険な行動を含め、航行の自由を妨害し地域の緊張を高める行為およびそれが繰り返されていることについて深刻に懸念をしています。南シナ海をめぐる問題は地域の平和と安定に直結する国際社会の正当な関心事項であり、我が国は南シナ海における力による一方的な現状変更の試みや緊張を高めるいかなる行為にも強く反対します。我が国は南シナ海における不法な海洋権益に関する主張を懸念するとともに、海上保安機関および海上民兵船舶の危険で威圧的な使用に断固反対してきています。また一貫して非仲裁判断に従い、南シナ海における紛争の平和的解決にコミットメントを示しているフィリピン政府の立場を高く評価しています。 仲裁判断は最終的であり、紛争当事国を法的に拘束するもので、我が国は当事国がこの判断に従うことにより、南シナ海における紛争の平和的解決につながることを強く期待します。そして今後どのように関わるかという後段のご質問でありましたが、我が国を取り巻く安全保障環境というのを考えれば、我が国が自由で開かれたインド太平洋ホイップというビジョンのもと、同盟国同志国と等々連携し、地域の平和と安定を確保していくことは我が国の安全保障にとって死活的に重要であると考えています。フィリピンは戦略的要衝に位置する日本の戦略的パートナーであり、これまでも2国間での部隊間交流、共同訓練、能力構築支援、そして防衛装備、技術協力などさまざまな分野で協力を拡大してまいりました。さらに多国間においても米州や豪州などの同盟国同志国と連携し、日非米豪による防衛省会談や共同訓練にまで協力の地平を広げてきています。防衛省自衛隊としては今回の一連の会談を機に、安全保障上大きな意義を有するフィリピンとの二国間関係およびフィリピンを含む多国間関係をさらに発展させ、地域の平和と安定の確保に貢献していきたい、そのように考えています。
Thank you, Minister Kihara. The next question directed at Minister Kamikawa will be coming from Mr. Nishiyama Kohei of Kyodo News.
共同通信の西山です。上川大臣にお伺いします。日本とフィリピンの安保防衛協力の進展には、南シナ海をめぐってフィリピンと対立する中国の反発も予想されます。今回の RAA は対中国の観点からどのような意義があるのでしょうか。また中国に今回の RAA についてどのように説明するつもりかお伺いします。
フィリピンは我が国と同じ海洋国家であります。基本的な価値、そして原則、これを共有をする戦略的パートナーであります。そのようなフィリピンとの関係強化につきましては、特定の国を念頭に置いたものではなく、日フィリピンをはじめとする地域の平和と繁栄のために不可欠であり、法の支配に基づく自由で開かれた国際秩序の維持・強化に資するものと考えております。本日署名をいたしました日フィリピン RAA によりまして、両国間の安全保障防衛協力がさらに促進をされ、インド太平洋地域の平和と安定が一層強固なものになるよう、このことが大きな目的でございます。こうした方向に向けまして努力をしてまいりたいというふうに思っております。その上で申し上げれば、この中国との間におきましては、戦略的互恵関係を包括的に推進するとともに、主張すべきは主張をし、責任ある行動を強く求めつつ、諸懸案も含めまして対話をしっかりと重ね、共通の課題につきましては協力をする、建設的かつ安定的な関係の構築を双方の努力で進めていく、こうした方針のもと、あらゆるレベルで緊密に意思疎通を図ってまいりたいと考えております。
Thank you, Minister Kamikawa. The third question from Manila Shimbun, from Robina Asidao, directed to Secretary Teodoro. Robina, your question, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Robina Asidao from Daily Manila Shimbun. Can you tell us what is the significant difference of the RAA with the existing status of visiting forces agreement with Australia and the visiting forces agreement that we have with the United States? And what's the way forward after the signing of RAA? Are there plans to progress the relationship into a formal treaty that would include reciprocal obligations to defend each other in the event of war?
All right. There are no significant differences between the RAA and the other visiting forces agreements we have with Australia and the United States. It's just tailored to conform to the requirements of the domestic law of each country. That is the only difference. In essence, everything remains the same. It allows the interoperability between the armed forces of the Philippines and the Japanese self-defense forces, both here and in Japan. Now, the way forward will be for our armed forces to come up with mutually acceptable confidence-building measures between and amongst themselves, which will include greater training and interoperability exercises. Now, for the second part of the question, I will defer to Secretary Manalo as the need arises. It is not within my jurisdiction to talk about what you say, mutual defense treaties and others. That will depend upon our political leadership and of course, upon the advice of the relevant ministers. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Teodoro. For the fourth question, can I call Miguel Flores of Reuters? The question directed at Secretary Manalo.
Hi, good afternoon, ministers. To Secretary Manalo. What were the factors that led to an early conclusion of the RAA deal with Japan, and are the Philippines and Japan open to a mutual defense treaty in the future or a similar access deal such as EDCA with the United States due to shared concerns over China's growing aggression in the Indo-Pacific? And also, why was the RAA signed at the ministerial level, whereas Japan's RAA with Australia and the UK were signed by their respective heads of state?
Well, I think on the first part, first on the early conclusion, I think that was your question. First, I have to congratulate the negotiators from both sides for the very hard work that they undertook in order to negotiate this very important agreement. I think we have to thank them because not only did they meet to discuss this or to negotiate the agreement face-to-face, they also had late-night meetings. They also negotiated by Zoom. They also were in regular contact informally. So all of these things were going on. So it wasn't just a simple case of meeting face-to-face in a formal setting. So that's, I think, what contributed very much to the conclusion of the agreement. But I think even more important to that is that on many of the issues that are already included in the text of the agreement, there was already, let's say, a prior basic agreement or understanding and commonality of positions, which made it very easy for the negotiations to proceed. Of course, there were some difficult issues, but I think due to the skill of our negotiators, they were able to overcome these differences in a very, let's say, in a very diplomatic way. We're able to come up with some very useful compromises, both in language and also in the substance of the text. So they were able to handle the difficult questions. But I think more important is that at the strategic level, both Japan and the Philippines recognize the importance of this agreement. So I think that was a basic understanding from the very beginning. So that also helped facilitate the negotiations. Now, I didn't quite get the second part of your...
Whether Japan and the Philippines are also considering mutual defense treaty or a similar access agreement like that of the EDCA with the U.S.?
Well, that's actually a second question. But anyway, since I'm in a good mood, I'll try and answer that. As Secretary Teodoro mentioned, I think that will all depend on how circumstances develop. I think the RIA is an important document because it enables the Philippines and Japan now to have a framework for our cooperation in defense and security and other related issues. And I think whether we will need to expand it to cover other areas or not will really depend on how the situation develops and also in what areas we wish to proceed and how to further develop the RAA. But what's important is that I think what the RAA has done is that it now it could serve as a force for stability in the region, for greater prosperity. And I think that it would be a way of Japan and the Philippines cooperating to deal not only with challenges, but how to take advantage of growing opportunities, not only in the security field, but also in the economic security field and other areas. So I think in that way, the RAA is really a very advantageous document for both the Philippines and Japan, and I think the region as a whole.
Thank you, Secretary Manalo, Secretary Todoro, Minister Kamikawa, and Minister Kihara. That ends our joint press conference. We thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. We wish the Japanese delegation a pleasant and productive stay in Manila, and we hope you can come back at another time. Thank you very much to everyone. Good afternoon.